So that's another thing, because a lot of the chemicals and the brushing and this and that and not taking care of those ends, that means your hair is in disrepair, okay? It's in need of some TLC. Hey guys, welcome back. Subbies, what's going on? And newbies, hello. Newbies, that's anybody who would be checking me out maybe for the first time. It may not even be for the second. It may be for the 5th or 10th. We don't even count around here. I just want my subbies and newbies to come on in. Troubleshooting. So I get a lot of questions with regard to people's hair, and I know that a lot of you guys are really trying to tighten in on your regimen and get things, right that ship so that we can all go sailing together, okay, into happy hair land. There is such a thing. I saw it on the map. It's called Happy Hair Land. Anyway, but I know that a lot of people, you get to a certain point and you don't know what to do. So you're asking other people, what should I do? And I always respond with the same type of response, which is, unless I am actually there touching and feeling your hair, as well as knowing your full regimen, there's not too much that I can really say specifically, because it could be a whole myriad of things. And so with that being said, I want to really impart to you guys, and really, this is pretty important, that you guys have to be your own hair advocate. Only you can truly solve your hair problems. I know that sometimes it can be overwhelming. And even with me, when I went through my bout of anemia, because I'm not anemic anymore, but when I went through it, I didn't know I was anemic. And I had no idea why my hair was shedding so much. And I sort of put 2 and 2 together. But there was no one that could really have told me, unless they knew my regimen, knew my health status, because hair shedding, it can present itself as many different things. But only I could really, and with the confirmation of a professional, as far as medical professional, know that it was anemia. So I say all that to say the power is in your hand as far as troubleshooting what is going on with your hair. So even though someone may not be able to diagnose you from afar, there are certain things that we can go over, and we're going to go over them really quickly. It's just like a little cheat sheet, a little cheat sheet that maybe you can reference and you can refer to if you're going through these things and have no idea what is going on. And again, just thinking about the questions that I've been getting, the most common questions are about dryness, about breakage, about shedding, as well as about styling. And we're just going to hop right into that really quickly. I get questions like, why is my hair dry? Tell me, Dolce, why is my hair dry? Or, Dolce, what is causing the breakage in my hair? Or, my hair is shedding a whole lot. What's the answer? Tell me, what is the answer? So with regard to dryness, okay, and dry hair. Now, again, a lot of this stuff will sound familiar, and even some of this will touch on the video that I did last week called Split Enders, okay, because that dealt with dryness and split ends and all this stuff. But let's go over it anyway. It's okay. So here we go. There are many causes for dry hair. So it could be as minimal as far as the cause. It could be something small like one of the products. Maybe your shampoos or conditioners are not fully moisturizing your hair. They're not imparting enough moisture to your hair. Because again, remember, your regimen consists of 2 things. It's the foundation and the mechanical part. So that foundation should be the heavy lift. That should do the heavy lifting in your regimen. You should be able to get your moisture, your strength, and everything from the foundation of your regimen, which will lead to a healthy conclusion with the mechanical part. And that's everything that you do to your hair, whether it's curling, braiding, styling. That's the mechanical part. So as far as the foundation of your regimen, again, the shampoos or the conditioners are not imparting enough moisture, or maybe you're not using a conditioner. I don't know why you wouldn't, but it's good to have a good conditioner in your arsenal, as well as a leave-in conditioner. You guys know that I preach this all the time, that the leave-in conditioner is very essential as far as it's a great bridge from the foundation part to the mechanical part. But a good leave-in conditioner, maybe you're not using one and you need to, that could be a sign. As well as your hair being over-processed, meaning leaving it on too long, okay, or using something that is way too strong or not appropriate for your strands. As well as using chemicals in the first place, whether you're using color or a relaxer, as well as we know the overuse of heat and even maybe the lack of heat in your regimen. Okay, so we're not going to start World War III over this, but you know how I feel about heat. But heat can be it can be beneficial to your hair as far as it can help lay down the cuticles to your strands and help seal them as well. When I say seal, I'm talking about like using flat irons and ceramic, with technology like ceramic technology, that it helps to seal the cuticles, as opposed to air drying, okay, which can leave your hair really dry. Not everybody can air dry. So with that being said, if you're air drying, that can leave your hair drier or drier feeling. Certain fabrics can zap the moisture from your hair. We already know about cotton pillowcases and cotton scarves. You don't want to do that. That can absorb the moisture from your hair. Some products have alcohols in them that can zap the moisture, as well as certain moisturizers that claim to be moisturizers, but all they're doing is sitting on top of your hair. And then they dissipate, the next day, and you find yourself having to moisture every day. They may be blocking what needs to be imparted to your hair. It may just be laying on top. So again, it goes back to the products, not using the right products, as well as protein. Okay, we know that we need a moisture and protein balance to our hair. If one of them is off, that throws off the whole thing. So too much protein means not enough moisture, and that can cause your hair to be dry or drier. As well as age. We went over this last week. Age, as you get older, your hair can get drier. So that too can lead to dry hair. But those are just some of the things that you can sort of go down and do the process of elimination, including not taking care of your hair at night. It's not necessarily a whole huge process, but you should be taking care of your hair at night. So those who don't wear any type of scarves, who just let their hair be free on the pillowcase, especially a cotton pillowcase, and just don't protect your ends, they don't protect it, that can be a huge cause of dryness. You should have some type of night care to your hair that will protect it while you're sleeping. So those are some of the things, some of the culprits that can cause dry hair. Now with all of those, we're going to get into breakage, and we're going to borrow a lot of what I said from the dry portion that can be applied to the breakage portion, okay? As far as our little cheat sheet of what's going on. This is super sleuthing, remember? We super sleuthing to make sure that we know what's going on with our hair. So with that being said, a lot of those can be applied because it's all connected. A lot of this stuff is connected. So with breakage, in addition to what I said about the dryness, breakage can be caused by, of course, we know tight styles, certain hats, okay? Certain hats like wool hats in the winter and things of that sort, that can cause breakage, especially in the crown. And speaking of the crown, specific areas, I get questions about specific areas. Well, I have breakage here. What's that from? I have breakage here. What's that from? And again, these are suggestions. This is a cheat sheet. So in the crown, again, it could be the hat. It could be wigs, okay? Because you're getting friction from the wig. Okay, it could be wigs. Anything that you're putting on top of your head, it could be that. It could be the application of the chemical services that you have. If you started here, it could be over-processed in one section. Okay, the left, right, or the crown, depending on where you start and how much you put on there. It could be from the chemicals that you are using that are too strong or not appropriate for your type of hair. And again, certain hairstyles, if you're braiding, the middle of your head can catch a lot of that tension, as well as the nape, the whole perimeter of your hair. If you're noticing a lot of breakage there, it could be from dryness and not really paying attention to the nape, okay, the nape as well as your edges. But also it could be from some of the things that you're using that you think are helping, like bonnets. Now, all my bonnet sisters, I don't need y'all to come after me. I'm not saying that all bonnets are bad. All I'm saying is that to be careful of what you're wearing, especially at night. Because those bonnets, the ones that have elastic, they can shift and catch your edges, catch your hair around the perimeter, and you may notice breakage. Just like even with the mask that we're wearing, a lot of us are wearing masks with the elastic loops around the ears. And if you're not clearing out your hair before you put on that mask, that elastic ear loop to the mask, it can catch your hair and cause breakage that way in these areas. Brushing. If you are a harsh brusher, okay? Brushing can cause havoc and cause breakage, especially around the sensitive, more fair parts, or fine, I should say, more fine parts. And again, when I say fine, I mean the strands themselves are more narrow. If you're brushing really hard, this can cause a lot of breakage. And a lot of us beat up on our edges, I guess, to make them straight, sort of brush them into submission. I need y'all to be a little easy on your edges. And not be so harsh, okay? Just smooth them out a little bit, but don't brush them into oblivion. Heavy brushing can cause breakage, as well as not getting trims. Yes, here we go again. We talked about it last week, so I'm not gonna really get into it, but you know that I could talk forever about getting trims. Anyway, I'm not gonna do that. But trimming your hair is very important because it can help stave off breakage. So if you're not getting trims or you've never gotten a trim, you may be dealing with damaged ends, which will lead to breakage. Now, with regard to shedding, that can be a little tricky because, again, we shed about 100 hairs per day. And if you don't know your hair, then you may get nervous just because you're shedding normally. But let's talk about excessive shedding. So first of all, you need to know your hair. This is for any of these categories, okay? You need to know your hair. So second of all, if you find that you are shedding excessively, some of the culprits, besides the weather and besides brushing, because we know that that can take out your hair if you're being really rough, that can cause a lot of shedding. We know that hormones play a big part as well. Those who have been pregnant or those who are having a hormonal shift, whether it be through aging or pregnancy or something else going on, that can cause excessive shedding, as well as certain products. You know, it's just like with your skin and everything, you can have a reaction to certain things. So you may have a reaction to a certain product in your regimen that is causing the shedding. And too much protein can cause your hair to be dry, which can lead to brittleness and breakage, as well as it can lead to shedding. So again, connecting the dots. Remember I said it's called, okay. Also, something as far as health-wise that is off can trigger excessive shedding. The two most common causes medically are alopecia and anemia. And you know that I've had a bout with the latter, okay? So I know this firsthand. So you want to be sure that nothing medically is going on as far as the shedding. You want to be aware and you want to be in tune with everything that's going on with you. We don't want to be alarmed, but you want to be aware. So with that being said, those can be some of the culprits of excessive shedding. Now I also get questions as far as styling. My hair won't keep its style. Why? Well, again, this can go to the products that you're using. And this may be a combination of products that are not holding your style, okay? It's okay to use a little spritz here and there, a little hairspray or whatever. Of course, we don't want to overdo anything. But your hair may also be too moisturized, okay? Now, that may sound silly because, you know, some people think you can never have too much moisture. But au contraire, mon frere, yes, you can. Some products are just too heavy for our hair. Now, naturals can, again, not only can they get away with a higher heat, but they can sort of get away with something a little heavier, for their strands. But those who are relaxed, you want to go for something a little lighter. So with regard to styling or not being able to hold or keep a style, your hair may be too heavy, as far as the products that you're using are not conducive to the style and the result that you're trying to get. Maybe the iron is not on the right setting. I know a lot of us are really scared of heat, okay? But if you're going to use heat, then use the heat. Meaning, if you are trying to get a curl to your hair, having it on 100 degrees, it's probably not going to work. You probably got to up the ante on the heat to get the result that you want. So I'll say misusing hair tools, okay? Not using them correctly in order to get the style that you want. And also night care, okay? Night hair care is a thing. And again, it doesn't have to be a process, a whole big to do, but at night, how are you maintaining that style? Okay, whether you're wrapping it up or using curlers in your head or putting that bonnet on it, the one without the elastic, but you should have some type of night hair care regimen where you are maintaining the style. Okay, wrap it up, cap it up, whatever you need to do. That may be one of the reasons why you cannot keep your style throughout the week, is because you're not taking care of it at night. Now, on top of that, if your hair is damaged, if you are dealing with damaged hair, that affects just about everything. It affects the look of your hair, of course, the health of it, as well as the styling of it. If you're dealing with frayed and frazzled ends, your style will not look stylish for too long, if at all. I tell people that my hair lasts throughout the entire week. And, I get questions as to, well, how are you able to do that and so forth? I keep my hair healthy. And along with the regimen that I have that is conducive to its health, that promotes its health and maintains its health, I am able to keep my style throughout the week. So I'm letting all of you guys know that if your hair is not healthy, if it's not in a healthy state, if the ends are raggedy, if your hair is super dry, if you're not using the right tools to get the results that you want, then you will not be able to, more times out of 10, you will not see that your hair is maintaining throughout the week. Okay, so that's that. Basically, as far as diagnosing from afar, you don't want a diagnosis from afar. You want hands-on diagnosis. You want a prescription, if you will, that is going to suit just you. And with that being said, you have to do some super sleuthing for yourself. So someone could tell you, hey, you have dry hair. Slap some moisturizer on it. Well, that may not be the case because you may be using the right moisturizer, but you may be using too much heat. And that's why you have dry hair. Or you may be in an area that has hard water. It could be as simple as something as hard water that is making your hair feel dry. So putting moisturizer on hair where you're already washing it with hard water is not necessarily going to mitigate the dryness, because that's not the issue. It may be something as small as putting on a filter on your shower head, and that may help and cure the dryness in that regard. You may have a lot of excessive shedding to your hair, and someone may say, hey, you need a protein treatment, but it may be something hormonal or medical. So a protein treatment definitely would not apply in this regard, because a protein treatment has nothing to do with what is ailing your hair and causing the shedding. So again, that's a misdiagnosis. That is not something that would be applicable to what you are going through. You may have an issue with breakage, which is why you cannot retain the length. So you putting any of these, snake oils on your hair, or any of these so-called elixirs to help grow your hair, that's not going to help if you have damaged hair in the first place and it's breaking off. We're talking about length of retention, because again, growth comes from the scalp. So your hair it's programmed to grow. but it's the length retention that we need to control, that we need to have control over. So with that being said, is no one size fits all. So it's hard to diagnose from afar. So there are many things that can cause these things, and it's good to look at videos and hear other testimonies as far as what other people are going through to see if it matches your scenario. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, you are the one who controls the keys or holds the keys to the health of your hair. So to troubleshoot a lot of these issues, number one, when you're doing this and you're going through something, you're trying to troubleshoot, yes, arm yourself with information and then filter through what fits for you, what applies to you or not, because not everything's going to apply. Another good way of troubleshooting is look at your regimen. It may be something simple as switching something out for something, or just totally negating one thing, okay, and leaving it out, or adding something to it. So with that being said, when you're doing that and in the process of re-examining your regimen, don't X out everything, because then it'll be hard to pinpoint what exactly was the culprit and what you need to keep. I say go one by one, or mismatch, or, see what's going on one by one. We don't want confusion. We want a concise conclusion. Hello, we don't want confusion. We want a concise conclusion. Also, know when to seek good advice, meaning go to a professional. Go to a good professional who you can pair up with and really diagnose and get the right diagnosis for what is going on with your hair. You may have something going on with you medical or health-wise. So it's good to seek professional help when all else doesn't add up, whether it be from a professional hairstylist, hairdresser, and or a professional as far as medical professional. Which leads me to the last point, which is everything is in your hands, okay? I need you to be your own hair advocate. It's good to ask questions. It's good to watch videos. It's good to get, advice from mama and them, maybe someone who's used the product and say, hey, I use this shampoo. It's good to do that. But at the end of the day, the health of your hair begins and ends with you. Okay, so that wasn't too bad, right? We were in and out okay. I want to thank you so much for dialing in and showing up. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I really do. And yeah, we'll be back talking about some more stuff. We got some more stuff on the list. Hiya! We got some more stuff on the list we're going to tackle, so you gotta come back for that. So you already know. It's going to be the same Dolce dial. It's going to be the same Dolce channel. So you come on back. All right. So ultimately, when it comes to troubleshooting issues with your hair, the power is in your hands.